Good evening, everybody, or late afternoon, whatever time it is in your area, your country, your state. Thank you all for stopping by here at the Sports Talk Network, and specifically for the NFL podcast that is called Talking Packers with Steve, where I each and every week, from a perspective of a Green Bay Packer fan, of course, speak about all 32 teams, at least speaking their team's name. So I'm with going through the past week, the new week, do that as people call it, song and dance, each and every week, and go through the games. And I did want to say that regards to wrestling, it's a big week with Survivor Series, Chicago, Illinois. CM Punk is back, Invasion, NXT. Don't worry, I'll be diving into that later this week. But for right now, focus here talking about NFL because we had our own WWE moment in regards to the Myles Garrett situation. But moving right along, moving on to week number 12 in the awesomeness that'll be. So let's welcome our guest, our semi co-host, Ross, to the program. How you doing this evening, Ross?
Good. Coming off a good football week for me in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah. Well, let me see here. Yeah, going over last week, the week that was. Excuse me. This will load from week 11. The results for week 11 will start off with a Thursday night game as usual. Browns over the Steelers, 21-7, getting the win at home. The Jets over Washington, 34-17. Colts over Jaguars, 33-13. Bills over Dolphins, 37-20. Dallas beating Detroit in a close game. They're in Detroit, 35-27. Ravens shellacked the Texans in what I thought was going to be, game of the week worthy, close game. Offensive slobber knocker was literally a Ravens beatdown, winning, as I said, 41-7. The Falcons defeating the Panthers 29-3. Saints over the Buccaneers 34-17. The Vikings coming back to beat the Broncos 27-23. 49ers over the Cardinals, got a little scare there for at least half of the game, but got the win 36-26. The Patriots over the Eagles 17-10. The Raiders beat the hapless Bengals 17-10 as well. Rams over the Bears 17-7, where Mitch Trubisky is taken out due to injury. Chiefs over the Chargers, Monday Night Football 24-17. Could be nearing the end in regards to the career of Philip Rivers there for the LA Chargers in that regard. And I guess just to ask you, since going through here as I do quickly in regards to the previous week, week 11, I guess for you, beyond just your own team, but what be your big notes in regards to the week that was week 11 in the NFL for that week?
I think one of my more significant takeaways is I wasn't all that impressed with the 49ers this week. On the scoreboard they won by 10, but really phony touchdown at the end when the Cardinals were just trying to lateral the ball and doing that drill. But the Cardinals really took it to San Francisco, and it's coming off of a San Francisco game when they lost favorite to Seattle. So I know their offense is pretty banged up, but they still scored a bunch of points. They scored 20, 29, or 30 with their offense. Looked okay. He threw 2 interceptions though. But I'm a bit concerned with the Niners right now. They still hold the number 1 seed, but they have to go to Seattle. That's obviously never easy. I believe they have a few more games against the Rams. So whether they stay at number 1 is to be determined, but I am definitely concerned about them.
Yeah, so it was an interesting week that was the past week. I think each week is interesting in its own way, whether for your own team, thinking about things, with you, the Cowboys, and me, the Packers. But in regards to the whole entire NFL landscape, the Raiders, the teams that I think can still be on the rise. The win is a win in the end, right? So they did get a win, but struggling against the hapless Bengals trying to get their first win in general. The 49ers lost last week in taking their first L. Cincinnati's trying to get their first W. So understand them fighting hard as they can, as they should, right? Trying to win, not trying to lose, of course. And the Raiders, though, in the end, eking out, getting the win. Happy they got the win. Just struggling against Cincinnati, a team that I thought they would dominate. I did not expect it to be a close game. I expected actually to be more on the other end of the spectrum, closer to a blowout. Just like with the Ravens game against Houston, I thought that was going to be a close game, maybe in the 40s, a 42-46 final or something like that, where in the end that wasn't the case, obviously. So that might have been a little letdown, at least for me personally, as my assumptions and my predictions in regards to what I thought that game was. But all in all, another fun, fantastical week in the NFL. As we move on to week number 12, that is here. We start off tomorrow night on Thursday night, as they always do, with the Indianapolis Colts against the Houston Texans this time for Thursday night football. Colts against the Texans. I guess I'll go first here for this matchup, and I'll go with the Texans, be able to bounce back. Call it kind of an outlier in regards to their loss to the Ravens. Ravens just an unstoppable force, or Lamar Jackson specifically being that. But the Ravens as a team. But I'm going to go with the Texans defeating the Colts 27-16, getting the home win for Houston, and a big, big win for them, especially in regards to the division. What do you say, Ross?
As well. Again, home teams on Thursday nights tend to do well. We saw that with Cleveland last week. It's starting to become a better trend. It wasn't so much early in the year, but now it's starting to even out. Thursday night. T.Y. Hilton might be back, maybe not, but Marlon Mack, the running back, arguably the best offensive skill position player for Indy. He fractured his hand last their offense. And if the Texans can force Jacoby Brissett to throw the ball 30, 35 times a game in the game, I don't see how.
Moving on to the Sunday games, we'll start with the Miami Dolphins facing off against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. And I'm going to go with and predict the Browns getting the win over Miami. Maybe a closer game than most expect, but still Miami taking the L. Browns taking the W. Browns over Dolphins 23-13. They're in that contest. Ross, how do you see Cleveland dominating or close win, or how do you see things going down in Cleveland?
I think this is probably one of the higher variance spots because of the distraction that Cleveland has, obviously, with the Myles Garrett. I think they had another defensive player suspended for this game. I think they're lucky because right now they just need to win. It doesn't really matter by how much. And they'll get the Dolphins, so they can afford to, not over in the end. The Dolphins just not very good despite playing with a lot of effort. So I will take Cleveland.
Moving right along to Detroit against Washington. See another home loss for Washington. I'm going with the Detroit Lions getting a win. Their season, in a sense, over in regards to Detroit. Mathematically, not yet, but for playoff hopes. But yeah, their odds of getting a playoff position, is very low. But technically still there. But I'm going to keep that hope alive for all Detroit Lion fans out there watching and out there in the world. Detroit over Washington getting the win 26-23 in a close matchup. Close matchup there. What do you see happening in Washington, Ross?
Yeah, I like Detroit in this one. Jeff Driscoll is actually playing really well for Detroit. Offense is doing pretty well. I mean, there are weapons there for Driscoll to work with, and it's really working. They scored 27 points against Dallas, which is pretty impressive. So I thought, if there was going to be a home run spot for them, it was going to be last week, and then they just laid a complete egg. So yeah, I'm totally out on Washington for this season, and probably next season as well. I mean, maybe out 2020, but it doesn't. It doesn't look like it, but we can talk about that next year, I suppose. But for this week, I like Detroit.
We got the Raiders traveling New York to face the Jets. Raiders against the Jets. Ross, I'll let you go first here. What do you see happening there in New York?
I like Oakland here. I mean, the Jets beating up, yeah, they won by a large margin, but it's Washington, so you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. But obviously, Oakland didn't look too impressive last week either. But I'm still high. They're going, to the Jets. I think that the offense that the Raiders have, the Jets can stop the run really well, but they're awful against the pass, and the Raiders have and even Josh Jacobs, the running back, is still really good. So I just think the Raiders will have a bit too much for the Jets to handle. So I will go with Oakland.
And this is prime opportunity, guys, for the Oakland Raiders with the Kansas City Chiefs being on a bye. Chiefs barely surviving against the LA Chargers. I think if the Chargers were a better offensive team, they would probably take an L here. Raiders could have had. They would have been tied then. Raiders take the lead now, is what I mean. But Chiefs won. Raiders won last week. Raiders gonna win here. Chiefs are idle on a bye, like I said. So Raiders tied with the Chiefs heading into week number 13, and then moving forward, of course. So I have the Raiders over the Jets 26-13, but I really am in a way hoping for the Raiders to win that division, but at least they have a chance. And with having a chance to get the division, it also bolsters their percentage of chance to making the playoffs, period, in regards to wild card, because if they keep winning, keep chasing the Chiefs, not only bolsters their resume and record, of course, to keep winning, to keep up with Kansas City, that they will have a firm spot to be in the playoffs as wild card at the least. Moving right along to two teams that I thought would be better heading into the season, at least one more than the other, but still, we got the Giants facing the Bears in Chicago, Illinois. I'll let Russ go first here. How do you see this matchup of these two non-juggernauts, but teams facing off in Chicago?
There's just no way I can pick Chicago in this game. Like, I don't want to pick the Giants either, but I mean, Chicago's offense, like when I watch it, it looks like I'm watching the game in slow motion. Like they're so slow on offense, and it's really surprising. The Giants are off a bye, and their offense is at least capable of doing stuff. They have Saquon. I think they're going to get Shepard back, so their offense can score a little bit. And Chicago's defense, it's still very good. It's not elite like it was last year. In Chicago, it worries me, but
Yeah, I was thinking. Excuse me. I was thinking the exact same thing, and kind of the same reasons you were bringing up. So I don't need to regurgitate it. You said it so well yourself. So I'm just going to simply say Giants over the Bears, 23-10. 23-10. Giants over Bears. Moving right along, we got the Panthers. Kyle Allen and the Panthers against the Saints. They're here in a divisional battle. I'll go first here. I'll have the Saints over the Panthers, 26-3. I kind of see this as a blowout. Saints putting a string all in regards to leading in this division and otherwise, but yeah, definitely have the Saints with a comfortable lead, with a comfortable win. They're playing at home. What say you, Ross? How you see things going down in New Orleans?
yeah, I'm kind of on you. Blow thinking New Orleans here. They had the hiccup against Atlanta, but maybe that wasn't so bad because Atlanta looked pretty good last week as well. So maybe there's something there with Atlanta. Everybody in the NFL is missing, but yeah, I don't really like the Panthers. Like their quarterback played horribly last week. It's just not a good spot. Saints are just about unbeatable. They like the Saints here.
Moving on, Battle of Birds. We have the Seattle Seahawks and the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. I'll let Ross go first here. How do you see this battle of two good teams? I would say one more than the other, but still a fierce battle. Could be a playoff preview in the wild card round, maybe. But Seahawks and the Eagles. What say you happening in Philadelphia?
Well, I hope it's not a playoff preview because that means Dallas probably doesn't win the division, and Philly makes it. But they're off a bye, off a humongous win last or 2 Monday nights ago, really, against the Niners. They're getting healthier. Their wide receiver corps, I think Lockett, is just all that impressed with. I mean, Wentz, he looked okay, but I just don't see the magic that was there, in the last couple of years with, you know, with the Jaguars. But when Foles was operating the offense, like they could just like work magic. But I don't see that with this Philadelphia team. Their defense is still good, but I worry about the offense a little bit. Running. They had Miles Sanders, he was like their second string, and they had to sign Ajayi just off the street. I think he was like the second stringer, maybe, or used them or too long. But in
Mhm.
short, I will take Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going with Seattle as well to get the win here. A little in a close game, 23-20, I'll say. The Eagles keeping up, but Seattle getting the win in the end. So Seahawks over the Eagles there. Moving right along, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Atlanta Falcons, and I'll go first here. I guess the Falcons decided to show up, the real Falcons standing up and showing out here in the last couple of weeks, and I'll have that continue here, at least for my prediction. The Falcons over the Buccaneers, 16-10 final here. But yeah, Falcons over the Buccaneers for me. But Ross, what say you? How do you see Atlanta doing here in this matchup?
Yeah, I kind of like the Falcons a little bit. From what I've been reading, it seems that their head coach quit and gave up a week, and since he gave up play calling duties, they're 2-0. And so I think there's something there. I don't think it's just complete randomness that the Falcons are playing well. That might continue. So yeah, give me the Falcons.
Moving right along, we got the Denver Broncos facing up against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo still trying to continue on, hold strong, not only trying to keep up or chase the Patriots for the division, but more still trying to hold on steady to their wild card positioning that they have right now, currently, for the AFC side of things. I'll go first here. I got the Bills getting the win over Denver, 36-13. But yeah, I got Buffalo in a big win here. Fortunately, Denver had a big lead against Minnesota, which was surprising, but cool to see, I guess. Another Allen doing well. This time, Brandon Allen, I think his name is. But here in Buffalo, I see Allen did better, and I see Buffalo getting the win, as I said, with the score I said. So, Ross, how do you see things? You think Denver can actually try to keep it close? Or do you see the Bills just circling the wagons and getting the win?
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. I think I'll pick the Bills here. He's one of the big knocks on him last year was, and I think in college as well, maybe not, but he turned the ball over a bunch, and that's just not the case this season. He's doing a great job. Going to be huge in this game because Denver's offense just isn't good, and as long as he's not giving Denver short fields and extra possessions, then I think Buffalo really should win. Traded away Sanders. Their defense is still good, but I don't think it's good enough to overcome a stagnant offense. So I will take Buffalo at home.
And moving right along, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. I'll let Ross go first here. That's how you see things going down in Cincinnati.
I will say I think Pittsburgh wins outright, but it would not shock me if Cincy keeps it close because I think there's the distraction with the Rudolph Garrett situation on the road, and I can't pick the Bengals straight up because of Ryan Finley. He's just not an NFL starting quarterback. He's not that caliber. But I really don't like Pittsburgh either. So I think Pittsburgh wins, but I don't think they're going to do as well as people might think.
Might be one of those low methodical games. Might be one of those low scoring games and matchups. Where not too much happening for either's offense, and that's not even meaning both defenses are great. It's just unfortunate with regards to the quarterbacks that are playing. I'm going with I'm going with the Steelers as well. Go with the Steelers to get the win, or like a field goal back and forth sort of thing, 12-6 or something like that, kind of final. But the Steelers surviving and advancing and not being the team to give Cincinnati their first win. But I wouldn't be shocked if Cincinnati won straight up. I'll say that much. But I'm predicting as well Pittsburgh to find a way, grit it out, get the win, and them moving on in regards to their own playoff aspirations. Excuse me. Moving right along, Jacksonville Jaguars against the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. Divisional battle here as well. I'll go first here. I got the Jaguars getting the win on the road, 26-13. Any playoff, they may have to get being able to keep that alive, but I just see Jacksonville being a more even-keel team, and I think especially defensive-wise, Jacksonville's defense over the Tennessee Titans defense, and Jaguars over the nod there. Offense, in regards to if Jaguars' defense above the Titans defense, Jaguars offense against Titans defense, Jaguars offense being able to get things done. So, as I said, I have Jacksonville over Tennessee, but what say you, Ross? How do you see this matchup going down?
I'm kind of in a similar spot to where I was in the Seattle game. I like Tennessee here because they're coming off of their bye, coming off of a huge win against Kansas City 2 weeks ago. And what I said for the Eagles, like Jacksonville's offense, I just don't see the magic. I mean, obviously Foles, he may be rusty. He very well may be rusty, but in the game, he opened the game with a score, and then they didn't score for the rest of the game. If I think he got outscored like 30-0 or something like that. I don't remember the exact score off the top of my head right now, but I think Tennessee, they can just score enough. I think that their offense has more explosive weapons. I think they're getting Corey Davis back, their wide receiver. He'll be back. Tannehill's not playing horribly. He's actually pretty well since he took over from Mariota. So I will take the Titans in a close game this week.
All right, I'm moving on to a big matchup here in this week. I would say game of the week quality worthy, at least on my end, of course. But that's the Dallas Cowboys and the Patriots facing off in New England. I'll go first since we're talking about Ross's team. I'm going with the Patriots over Dallas. I think Dallas really is going to need Philadelphia, of course, to get the out because I don't see them getting the W this week. I see New England getting the win, though. A close matchup. Dallas will keep it close. But I got New England getting the win in the end. 35-26. I'm getting the win there in New England. But what say you? How do you see your Cowboys doing in New England?
I can feel the bias seeping into my brain here. I probably wins the game more times than not, but I feel like this is Dallas's prove it game. They had a similar game last season around Thanksgiving time against the Saints when they were about a touchdown underdog, and the Saints were arguably the best team in the league last year. And right now the Patriots are arguably the best team. I think you can make a case for Baltimore as well. But I mean, Dallas, they beat the Saints by I think 3 or 4 points, and that started their incredible run at the end of the year to the division title. This is a lot more difficult because instead of at home against the Saints, they're going to New England. It's just such a difficult matchup. I'm really impressed with Dak Prescott in the offense, but the defense is shockingly not good. Like this was the strength of the team last year, and they got lit up by Jeff Driscoll. So as bad as the Pats offense is, they're going to find ways to beat Dallas's defense, I think. And New England's defense best in the league. I don't think there's much debate about that. And even though Dallas's offense is great, I just don't trust them going on the road to face an elite team. So I'll lean to New England, but I see some similarities with this team from last year. If they can get a win here in New England, I mean, it'll set them up so well going into the future. But I just don't think it's going to happen on Sunday.
All right, yeah, you're right. That would be the case, and that's what I was saying in regards to the Eagles. As I say for my prediction, Dallas losing. For myself, Dallas needing Philadelphia to lose, so they lose here. That it'd be great if they win and Philadelphia loses, but I don't see that happening. Though I wouldn't again be shocked of it because why be shocked? But either way, I'm of course went with the Patriots. And moving on to another big game, so big that the NFL flexed it from the afternoon game of the week to the game of the night for Sunday Night Football. Packers 49ers. The Packers win, can tie with the 49ers and take over the number one spot in the NFC. But since we're talking about my team here and their matchup, we'll let Ross go first and let me know how you think things are going for my Packers or will be going down in San Francisco.
I think I'm going to take Green Bay here. I mentioned my concerns with San Fran at the top of the show, and their offense is still really, really banged up. Like, I don't know if George Kittle's going to play. The latest report I saw said Manny Sanders and Breida will play, but that they won't be 100%. Packers coming on, which is always good. And, I mean, if we're just looking at the quarterbacks, I'll take Aaron Rodgers over Jimmy G any day, any place, any time. So, I mean, Green Bay's defense isn't on the same things, but in a primetime game, I think I trust Aaron Rodgers a little bit more than Jimmy G, even on the road. So I will take Green Bay in a close game.
And for me, I guess my own bias is kind of slipping in here. Myself, with the Packers, wanting to get a big win here in San Francisco. I think we can do it. But I am a little bit leery in regards to our offense being able to continue keeping it up in regards to having a passing offense. Yes, even saying that with Aaron Rodgers, but still being an issue. And, our defense, we're hot and cold in regards to that as well. Being how we do against the 49ers offense. I'll predict our team to win, but it's going to be a outcome drag out fight. But we'll certainly see how that goes down, of course, on Sunday night. So I'll go with the Packers with the 49ers 26-23, last second field goal sort of thing, barely surviving. But anyways, let's head to the Monday night game, Ravens and Rams. What say you happening in LA?
Here, the Vegas line on this game is Ravens by 3, which seems really short to me. Which, I mean, it could be recency bias, being that Baltimore is just blown out the Texans and the Bengals in the last 2 weeks, and the Rams have looked really, really bad. Even last week, even against the Bears, the Rams offense didn't look all that great. They only got going really in their final drive to seal the game. Robert Woods, I don't know what his status is for the Rams. He's dealing with a personal issue, but I mean, this line just seems really, really short to me, and I think Baltimore, they're clearly the better team, and you've all cornerback. He used to play for the Rams this season, if I'm remembering correctly. He got traded earlier in the season, so maybe there's an edge there with Peters knowing the playbook a little bit. So this is projected to be as close as it is, but I think Baltimore is clearly the better team, and they're going to get a big win here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm going with the Ravens getting a win here, but seeing it a close game. The Rams keep it close. The Rams being the defending NFC champions. They can show me that they can keep up with one of the big teams of this season, being the Baltimore Ravens. Slowly growing in their own Super Bowl front running, if not for quarterback to be MVP, but Lamar Jackson. But either way, it'll be interesting. I'll go with the Rams losing, the Ravens getting a win, like 35-17 kind of score. Rams keeping it close for a while, but either way, gonna be another fun week of football. Great week with week 12. A lot of stuff going on in regards to me, in regards to podcasting, other stuff that I do. Whodunit game. I didn't make the cut for those that know for the new Whodunit game. Whodunit craze to make production, but hopefully I might still apply for the game to play. and go from there. And tonight, who done a double team, continuing with the riddle stuff. But shall be interesting to see how things go moving forward. With all of that, thanks for everybody who watched live, watched archive. And before we go, we'll let Russ with any final words and promoting himself as well for social medias.
Yeah, it's been fun. You can follow me on Twitter at Ross Shinberg. I've got football ramblings, maybe some basketball ramblings really going on, but it's mostly football right now. We're getting almost, what are we, 2/3 of the way through the season now? Almost, just through the regular season at least. So I mean, it's football season always goes by so quickly. I can't believe we're almost at the Thanksgiving games. It's gonna be a good week, I think. So yeah, well, thanks for having me.
One thing we did forget to do before we left is regards to your game of the week. Or for ours, I mean, but for you, where do you see? What do you say? Be week 12's game of the week.
I think we're gonna have another situation where I picked the Packers and you picked the Cowboys, but I had the Niners Packers game. I mean, I think sort of because the other regular season games just, I don't know, they're not all that interesting to me. And you've got a bunch of heavyweight matchups, Cowboys Pats, and obviously Packers Niners, two teams fighting for a first round bye, fighting for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Rodgers and Garoppolo can't really beat that. I selfishly, I wish they flexed the Dallas Patriots game into the Sunday night spot, but 425 on I think CBS in the booth for that one. So I'm looking forward to it. But for my game of the week, it'll be your Packers and the Niners.
Sorry about that, replying for something else, but replying to a DM. Anyways, for me, for game of the week, yeah, you're pretty much right in regards to what you were saying, because for me, I've got Cowboys Patriots for my game of the week for this week. Of course, picking the Patriots, but that being for me the game of the week. Reigning defending Super Bowl champions, but it's certainly going to be a good battle, and looking forward to see things. But either way, shall be fun, and I look forward to seeing how it all goes. And you can follow me for the show at Talking_Packers, of course, in personal at Army_Strong_06. I hope you have a great rest. Oh, everybody has a great rest of your evening. And above all else, as always, take care.